I have a unique habit that I have to drink a glass of warm milk every day at night before I can sleep peacefully. Maybe it's because my mom always poured me a cup of warm milk when I was a child, and now that I've grown up, such a habit still hasn't changed. My name is Wang Xiaoya. I am the only daughter of my family, married to a man named Li Wei. One night, shortly after lying down with my usual glass of milk, I woke up and realized that my husband was not by the bedside. I was a little uneasy, so I got up and went out to take a look, but I found that Li Wei had left at some point. I heart half cold. These years of married life has been quite uneventful. He has never made such a mistake. Is there really something wrong? Or did he have other ideas outside? The next few days, my mood has been very heavy. Every day I guess why my husband will leave in the middle of the night, often staring at the phone, unconsciously forget their own milk. At this time, I missed my mom's warm glass of milk even more. How thoughtful and considerate she was. One day, I suddenly received a call from my cousin Xiaoli. Xiaoli is a warm and cheerful girl, just recently graduated from college. The family's factory closed down. She happened to be idle, so she asked her cousin to do the nanny, to help me share some of the housework. Xiaoli is a girl who loves cleanliness, and after she came, the house was indeed much cleaner. Moreover, she is a really good cook and she can make all kinds of food every day, and my husband and I are very impressed with her skills. Unconsciously, our mood was also much better. When my husband came back, we realized that he had been busy working overtime recently, so he went out for a walk in the middle of the night in order not to disturb me and let his mood relax. Seeing him think so much for me, I feel warm in my heart. Xiaoli is conscientious and responsible, which really saves me a lot of heartache. She and I also have a particularly good relationship, talking and laughing, nothing to worry about. However, recently there have been some small conflicts in the family. Nothing major, but it made me feel a little sad. Once, I came home and found my husband watching TV with Xiaoli. They were chatting like crazy, as if they had completely forgotten about me. I was a bit angry. After all, Xiaoli was there to help, not to mingle with my husband. So I reminded my husband, he reacted, and quickly explained that it was just a casual conversation, nothing else. Xiaoli also hurriedly explained that just chatting, no other meaning. Although this matter is explained clearly, but I always feel a little uncomfortable. I cannot help but begin to suspect that there are other contradictions between her husband and Xiaoli. Not long after, I found that my husband and Xiaoli often inadvertently interact. Xiaoli's habits and hobbies also let me start to feel a little uncomfortable. The topic of conversation between my husband and I also began to become less. The relationship has become a little indifferent. Sometimes at night, when I lie in bed and recall the milk my mother poured for me when I was a child, my heart is always especially hard. That kind of warmth and comfort seem to be far away. Just when I was worried, a sudden epidemic made everything chaotic. The city we were in began to implement blockade management, and when we went out, we needed to show relevant certificates, and life became extremely difficult. Xiaoli's family was out of town and she couldn't go back, so she stayed on at our house. I was very worried about her. After all, the environment outside is very dangerous, but also worried about the relationship between her and her husband to cause further misunderstanding. One day, I went out to buy groceries and came back and found my husband and Xiaoli sitting in the living room chatting together, and my husband's hand also inadvertently rested on Xiaoli's shoulder. When I saw this scene, my mood immediately sank to the bottom. I did not make a sound and silently turned around and returned to the bedroom. Now, I was really a little confused about what had happened between my husband and Xiaoli. Just as the family gradually regained its peace, another thing happened that bothered me. One day, Li Wei suddenly told me that he felt that Xiaoli always left home with a hint of something different, and his cell phone always received a lot of messages, which seemed a bit off. I didn't think so at first, thinking that my husband might have misunderstood Xiaoli because of the previous misunderstanding. But as time goes by, I began to think that Xiaoli behavior is indeed a little strange, and in the home is always using the phone to send messages, sometimes see me pass by will also be mysterious, put away the phone. This makes me start to think about it, the more my heart is not solid. Although I do not want to believe that Shally will have any misbehavior, but all the signs make me feel uneasy. Gradually, my trust in Shally was slowly waning. She was obviously here to help, so why did she always seem to be hiding something about everything? I tried to talk to Shally, but she was always evasive and unwilling to be honest. Also, when it came to household chores, she started to become a bit slack, sometimes even perfunctory. This made me question her sense of responsibility and become more wary of her every move. At this point, the atmosphere at home became a little tense, and my husband and I often have a big fight because of Shally's things. I began to feel confused and uneasy inside, and at the same time I didn't know how I should deal with such family conflicts, and I was also worried that such conflicts would affect the harmony of the family. Not knowing how to face all this, I was caught in a conflict and entanglement. Although Shally helped a lot at home, but gradually, I found something wrong. Although she could help with the housework, she was always arrogant towards me and liked to interfere in everything, making me feel a bit uncomfortable. I tried to communicate with her, but she was always dismissive, which made me a little sad. At the same time, I realized that my husband seemed to be more interested in Shally's presence than in mine. He always took the initiative to find Shally to tell her what was on his mind, while I became more and more like a supporting role. Cracks seemed to appear in the originally peaceful family life, and this made me feel doubly anxious and irritable. As time went by, Shally's attitude became more arrogant, and I felt as if she was taking my place, and my husband was oblivious to this state of affairs. I tried to talk to my husband about it, hoping he would listen, but he thought I was being paranoid. At the height of my confusion, my mom called and said she wanted to come to the house to see me, which gave me an instant talking point. Within a few days, Mom came home. I told all my troubles, and my mom listened and was silent for a while, then gently comforted me and reminded me to communicate well and not to let the misunderstanding get deeper and deeper. She also said that Shally was the younger sibling of the family and should work for the harmony of the family. I nodded, feeling my mother's care and consideration, and the anxiety in my heart eased quite a bit. But things didn't get better just because of that. In a chance encounter, I discovered some conflicts between my husband and Shally. It turned out that her husband had recently been working under great pressure and was in an irritable mood, while Shally had her own ideas but did not say so explicitly. I decided to sit down and talk with Shally. Positive communication were the conflict between each other. Shally's arrival did bring me a lot of convenience, not only reduce the burden of housework, but also give me a lot of care. However, Shally's arrival also exposed the deep-seated problems of our family conflicts. A few days later, by chance, I inadvertently found some text messages in my husband's cell phone that shocked me. It turned out that the coming and going between Li Wei and a female colleague named Xiaoxue was not simple. I feel my heart is cold. My heart welled up endless indignation and helplessness. I feel my family happiness instantly shattered. I did not immediately question Li Wei. I was afraid of getting an answer that I could not bear. But the secret still rushed across my mind, making it impossible for me to function properly at times. Shally sensed that I was different. She was concerned and asked me what had happened. I was a bit torn. I didn't know whether I should tell her or not. After all, it was my own family's business. Nevertheless, Ray found out the truth of the matter. She came over and apologized, saying that she shouldn't have caused any trouble for me and let the family have a conflict because of it. She also reassured me that dealing with family issues was a matter between the two couples and that she would not intervene again. But Shally's appearance also reminded me that maybe I had been neglecting something, that maybe my husband wasn't as loyal as I thought he was, and that facing the problem head-on was what I should do. A few days later, I finally couldn't resist questioning my husband, and I demanded a statement from him. He lowered his head and his tone was a bit evasive, but he finally confessed the relationship between himself and Snow. I feel tormented inside. These years of deep love like water finally cannot resist the temptation of real life. Looking at my husband in front of me, I feel as if my heart is cut. I do not know what to do. He said he was just lonely, just looking for some excitement, not really want to leave me. However, I feel that all this can no longer be undone. For a while, I was in deep conflict. I understand, after all, we have walked hand in hand for so many years. Love and feelings are not overnight, can easily put down. However, this experience of betrayal and deception and let me hard to let go. My mood is like a messy hemp, a time cannot decide. Soon, Xiaoli had been living with us for some time. She not only helped me share the housework, but also made delicious meals, which improved our quality of life. However, just a few days ago, I discovered something that made me feel conflicted. On that day, I came home from work early, only to hear the sound of Xiaoli and Li Wei arguing in the living room. I hurriedly walked in and saw Xiaoli with a pale face and red eyes, while Li Wei had a serious face and a displeased look. I immediately asked what happened. It turned out that Xiaoli and Li Wei had an argument over some trivial matters. Xiaoli ready to let Li Wei tried some of her special new dishes, but Li Wei is disgusted, said not like home cooking, let Xiaoli do not bother. The bitterness of some of Xiaoli's hard cooking and Li Wei's disdain put me in a dilemma. This whole thing made me feel overwhelmed. Xiaoli is my cousin and Li Wei is my husband. I don't know which side I should take. I grew up alone and have always been a bit fragile to affection, and it was very upsetting to see two people I both love in conflict. I tried to mediate between them so that they could both understand each other. Li Wei later apologized and admitted that he was a bit impulsive. Li also realized that as someone else in the family, her dishes really needed more respect. However, this sudden incident of conflict made me start to worry about the future. I realized that this incident may have been a minor strife, and it doesn't mean that our family will be shaken up by it. However, I began to think that conflicts and disputes within a family cannot be resolved once or twice. They may be hidden beneath many surfaces and slowly accumulate. I felt a little bewildered, and I thought I needed time to sort out my emotions. Maybe Li Wei and I should sit down and have a good talk and talk out all the worries and doubts in our hearts, and maybe we need to listen to the advice of outsiders as well. After all, the feelings and needs of each member of the family are equally important. The argument made me realize that families need more communication and understanding, rather than keeping conflicts bottled up inside. Perhaps we need some new ways to deal with problems that may arise in the future, and this may be the real solution.